The ship gleamed under the rising sun, and Sofia Martinez felt a chill as she stepped aboard, knowing something was hiding beneath its glittering decks. The ship gleamed under the rising sun, and Sofia Martinez felt a chill as she stepped aboard. Knowing something was hiding beneath its glittering decks, she moved across the gleaming atrium, her eyes tracing the sparkling chandeliers and polished floors, reflecting her excitement mingled with unease. Passengers bustled around her, laughing and taking photographs, their voices echoing through the enormous hall. Yet Sofia sensed a tension in the air, as if the ship itself was alive and watching. Captain Alexander Kane approached with a smile that did not reach his eyes, and Sofia could not shake the feeling that behind his courteous nod lay secrets he did not wish revealed. She made her way to the dining hall, the air heavy with aromas of exotic spices and sizzling meats, every table set with immaculate precision, and every chef moving like a dancer in a deadly choreography. Sofia could not resist slipping closer to the kitchen, where Lucien Varga moved with quiet command, his dark eyes flicking over each dish and each member of his staff. She felt a chill as she noticed the way he watched her from across the room. The first dinner service began. Passengers applauded the presentation, each bite a perfect symphony of flavor. Yet Sofia felt a strange familiarity in the dishes, as if she had tasted them before somewhere far away and forbidden. Her mind raced. Whispers from the crew reached her ears, hints of missing ingredients, strange deliveries, and quiet warnings as the lights flickered and shadows seemed to stretch across the walls. That night Sofia could not sleep. The memory of a pantry she had discovered during her secret tour haunted her. Shelves stacked with rare ingredients, many illegal, some marked with strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the dark. She remembered the young crew member watching her with wide, frightened eyes before disappearing into the corridors. Her curiosity and fear propelled her forward. She moved through hidden staircases and service tunnels, documenting everything she could. The storm was gathering outside, waves battering the hull and the wind screaming like a warning. Sofia felt isolated, trapped on this glittering prison of luxury. The following day she met Tom Reed, an investigative journalist on board who had sensed the oddities of the ship as acutely as she had. Together they began piecing together incidents, missing shipments, subtle injuries among passengers, and whispered arguments among the chefs. Every new discovery increased the danger, for they realized someone was orchestrating events from the shadows. Their investigation led them to hidden rooms containing crates of exotic meats and spices, some preserved in ways that defied explanation, and hints of smuggling routes that extended far beyond the ocean and even the ship itself. Passengers began whispering their suspicions, some accusing the crew, others dismissing their fears, but Sofia and Tom could feel the tension tightening across the decks. Crew members moved in ways too precise and too careful. Some vanished without explanation, leaving an empty space that echoed of threat and fear. Captain Kane himself seemed torn between authority and secrecy, his glances toward Sofia filled with meaning she could not yet decipher. The storm worsened, isolating the ship from the world beyond the horizon and cutting them off from any assistance or escape. The gala dinner arrived, a spectacle of lights, music, and cuisine, each dish a masterpiece of skill and exotic ingredients. Yet beneath the beauty Sofia felt the pulse of danger. The staff moved like a single organism, guided by Lucien, whose presence was constant yet elusive. Sofia and Tom slipped through the crowd, secretly recording conversations and photographing documents. The storm outside making the ship pitch and sway, the windows rattling and the air thick with tension. Suddenly a scream cut through the music, a guest collapsed, and the staff rushed with unnatural precision. Chaos erupted. Sofia lunged toward Lucien, confronting him with the evidence they had gathered, a confrontation that spilled into the corridors. The storm howling outside and the ship creaking as if alive. The chase that followed was relentless, running through service tunnels and hidden staircases, the flickering emergency lights casting shadows that seemed to move with a life of their own. Sofia felt fear and adrenaline coursing through her as she cornered Lucien. He tried to escape, but the combined efforts of Sofia, Tom, and a few brave crew members overpowered him and secured him until authorities could intervene. By dawn, the storm subsided. The ship returned to calm, passengers shaken but unharmed, and Sofia reflected on what had happened. The luxury and the cuisine had masked a darkness, a criminal enterprise. Hidden beneath glittering surfaces and flawless presentations, Captain Kane observed from the bridge lines of worry and relief etched across his face as the first light of day touched the decks. Lucien and his aides were taken into custody. The ship docked and investigators began their work. Sophia and Tom stood together watching the waves crash against the hull. She felt a strange sense of awe. The sea still held its secrets, and she had glimpsed some of them, yet she also knew the story she would write would capture both the culinary brilliance and the suspenseful terror that had defined the maiden voyage. The passengers disembarked, some oblivious, some forever changed. The ship gleamed in the sunlight, innocent in appearance, yet forever marked by the events of the night. Sophia returned to her cabin, her notebook full, her mind replaying flavors and fear, the combination intoxicating and unforgettable. She realized that the allure of luxury and the danger of secrecy were intertwined, and that she had been privileged and cursed to witness it. She thought of Captain Kane and Tom Reed, and even of Lucien Varga, and how each had played their part in the dance of deception and revelation. The story she would tell would be remembered, not just for the cuisine, but for the suspense and the shadows lurking behind the glittering surfaces of a brand-new ship sailing across endless seas. Sophia stood at the rail of the ship, watching the waves stretch endlessly toward the horizon, the sun casting molten gold across the restless water, her thoughts drifting between relief and a lingering unease. She could feel the memory of every whispered conversation, every shadow that had moved across the decks, every stolen glance that had hinted at danger, and the images of Lucien Varga and his aides being led away replayed endlessly in her mind. The luxury and elegance of the ship that had once seemed so perfect now felt like a mask that could never be removed. The corridors she had explored, the hidden staircases and the secret pantries seemed etched in her memory like a map of both beauty and peril. She wondered how many other ships sailed with secrets tucked beneath their polished floors and gleaming lights. Tom Reed joined her quietly, his presence comforting, yet charged with the same tension that she felt. Together they watched the passengers disembark, some laughing, unaware of what had almost occurred, others lingering with wide eyes and trembling hands, as if they too had glimpsed the darker side of the glittering world. The staff moved methodically, cleaning and restoring the ship, yet Sophia knew that beneath their calm precision lay the echoes of fear and relief. Each smile practiced, each movement deliberate, a silent acknowledgement that something had changed forever aboard this vessel, and that nothing would ever truly return to normal. The wind tugged at her hair, carrying the scent of salt and exotic spices, a reminder of the dinners that had dazzled her senses and of the hidden dangers that had lurked within them. She felt a shiver run down her spine, knowing that the sea held more than beauty, more than endless horizons. It held mysteries that could twist the mind and test the courage of anyone who dared to cross it, and she wondered how many more voyages would unfold like this, how many more nights would conceal secrets behind laughter and glitter. And she realized that the stories she would tell would be only a fragment of what truly happened. The rest would remain in whispers, in the shadows, in the spaces between waves. Sophia thought of Captain Kane and the choices he had made, the lines of worry that had softened on his face as the crisis passed, and she felt a strange understanding of the weight of responsibility and the burden of command. She thought of Lucien Varga, whose brilliance had been both a gift and a curse, and she could not help but feel awe tinged with revulsion at the ingenuity it had taken to orchestrate such a complex deception. The passengers would remember the ship for its beauty and its cuisine, yet only she and Tom would carry the memory of the tension, the danger, the almost imperceptible threads that had threatened to unravel everything. She closed her eyes, breathing in the briny air and the faint smell of food carried on the wind, and she imagined the ship sailing on through distant waters, the glittering lights dancing on the waves like eyes, watching, waiting, the sea endless and eternal. And she felt both fear and fascination at the thought of what lay ahead, and she knew that she would always remember this maiden voyage, not just as a journey of luxury and cuisine, but as a voyage into the hidden heart of human ambition and deception. The allure of the sea, its beauty and its terror intertwined forever, leaving its mark on her soul, a reminder that behind every glittering surface there can be shadows waiting to be discovered.